What's up, everybody? How's it going? Austin Prechtel, Prechtel V Performance, coming at you live. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Hope you guys are having a great one. It's not Taco Tuesday for me, though, unfortunately. But that's okay. That's okay. Got some other stuff going on. So, how's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing today? Hope you're having an amazing Tuesday, because I sure as hell am. Today, today, I want to talk a little bit about, uh, you know, my struggles over the last 7 years, basically things that I've dealt with, and why I think it's important to talk about these things, and why I think it's important to be, I don't know, authentic and open about everything. Because, yeah, I think it's important to do that. I think it's important to talk about these things because a lot of people go through that shit. A lot of people go through this shit all the time and they never, talk about it. They think that, because they deal with these issues or whatever it may be, they can't, pursue a fitness goal. They can't pursue a, health journey or fitness journey or weight loss journey or whatever it may be. And I'm here to tell you that everybody goes through that shit. I go through that shit. And that doesn't mean you can't pursue these things. And so, yeah, I'm just going to start off with a little bit of, if you saw my post today, you already, know some of these things. But, yeah, I'm just going to deep dive into it, basically. So, over the last 7 years, I've had a lot of, what you could call not the best luck in terms of, like, my health or the jobs that I've worked, or, I don't know, just how I've felt in the past and things like that. And so I think that, by talking about these things, it helps other people realize, like, that they can do it too. And, me personally, like, there's been a lot of times in my life where, like, I've done certain things or I felt certain ways, and it was like, like a sense of shame or a sense of, like, being, like, alone, or being like, you know, I can't do this, or I can't, like, my fitness goals are gonna, like, I'm gonna fall apart, kind of thing, or whatever it may be. And a lot of people feel like that. And if I was just on here and I was like, hello everybody, I'm Austin, and, like, I'm perfect and you guys suck. Um, like, why can't you do it and I can do it and you guys suck, and, like, I'm perfect and, like, there's nothing wrong with me, and, why can't you all be like that? Like, nobody, you're not gonna relate to that. That's gonna, like, you're gonna be like, oh, fuck that guy. Like, like that's not how, that's not the reality of everything. Like anybody that's out there that you see, like, that, like, you know is like a fitness guru or influencer or whatever, whoever you watch, like, they all deal with, like, shit, all, whether they, like, admit it or not, or whether they, like, want to talk about it or not. Like, they have shitty parts of their lives too. And they just might not be, like, sharing that with you. But I feel like it's important to share those things, with people, because it makes it seem that much more real. It makes it seem that much more, like, relatable. It's like, like, again, if I was on here, like, hi, I'm Austin, and, like, I'm better than you, and, like, I think that, like, why isn't your life perfect too? That's not realistic. That's not real life. And I feel like a lot of people just, they would feel like, their goals aren't attainable, if it if I came on here and was like that, and, like, because that's just not the reality of the situation. Like, and so, before I kind of jump into this stuff, like, I just want you to know, like, your goals are attainable, even if you've been dealt, like, a shit hand, or even if you're going through some shit right now, mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever it may be. You can, achieve your goals, no matter what. So, yeah, just want to set the bar there, because, if I can do it, you can do it. If anybody has ever been able to do it before, that means you also can do it. And so, I just want to talk about some of the stuff I've done. Like, I've injured I've injured myself countless times. Sometimes they were my own fault. Sometimes they weren't my fault at all. Sometimes they were just, like, bad luck. And sometimes bad luck happens. And, you got to deal with what you got going on. I have partially torn my pectoral. I have torn a muscle in my upper back. That time when that happened, I was just setting a weight back on the rack, and part of the weight rack, like, it was a 120-pound dumbbell, and part of the rubber thing that holds it in place, it slipped off, and then the dumbbell fell, and then I went to go catch it, and I tore some shit up in my upper back. That's bad luck. But you know what? Like, I've had countless times where I haven't been able to train at all for months on end, if not, even with my pec, it was a couple of years that I could not train very hard. I could, do little half-ass workouts just to try and maintain, but I couldn't work out, like I wanted to. I've had times where I have, had, a lot of health scares where I've had, I had shingles, internally, and like not just on your skin, but I had it like in my gastric system, where I couldn't eat or drink water for like, days on end, and then that would turn into like a fever, and then I'd have to go to I was hospitalized for several days, just shit like that, where it was not fun, and it was like kind of scary, where I was like, man, am I gonna die? Like, very, very, very well could have. And I think a lot of those moments whenever you have shit like that happening is just like so, I don't know, so important, because like, go like, I feel like the times that I struggled are what, like, molded me, and like helped me, create this like mindset that I have now. Rather than like dwelling on like woe is me, like what happened to me, like why did that have to happen to me? Focusing on like what I could do, and still trying to like, make do with what I got in those times. And like all those times like that I was dealing with this kind of shit, like, I was always thinking about my fitness goals, and I was always thinking about like, getting back into the gym and things like that. And I feel like a lot of people, don't have that like instilled in them yet. And so, for me, like that was always like what I was like always trying to get back to. And it was always really frustrating for me, because I felt like I was always losing my momentum, or I always felt like I was losing my like motivation or whatever it may be, because I couldn't go to the gym or whatever. And like, it was one of those times where it's like, you know, I wasn't able to do any physical activity. I was like bedridden for like 3 months straight while I was in grad school trying to like do all this crazy shit. And it was just this like horrible, like situation that made it to where I couldn't work out, and I couldn't go and do the things that I wanted to do that made me happy. And it's one of those things where it's like, are you going to let those moments like define who you are in like a bad way and like knock you off entirely and then you quit? Or are you going to like, just be patient with it, and like, and recognize that your time will come and you'll be able to actually like, do it. That's not to say that you should put off your goals because you're being dealt a shit hand right now. I think you should try and take action as soon as you can, if you can like healthily do it. But it's one of those things where it's like there's been so many times in my life where like I haven't been able to go to the gym, or I've been knocked out of that momentum, or I've not had the motivation. But just, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, if I can go through all that shit, like you can go through all that shit too and still come out on the other side, like, okay, and still working towards your fitness goals or your nutrition goals or whatever it may be. Like, if you're dealing with that shit right now, like it's one of those things, like it's just like it's a bad storm that you kind of have to weather and get through. Like, not just like physical injuries, like emotional or depressive, like mental issues and things like that. Like I, people don't like talking about this shit, but I have had really bad depression at times in my life, and I have had times where I couldn't get out of fucking bed, or like I've had times where like when I was in grad school and things like that, where I was not in a good place mentally, where I felt like I could function as a human being in society. And so, those are all things that people deal with on a regular basis that aren't fun to deal with, but they're things that you can work through, and that you can, power through, not power through necessarily, but like, work on and work through, and it's different for everybody. It might take a different amount of time for you, than it did for me, but it's one of those things that it's worth, like, what my point here is like, it's worth struggling through. It's worth like going through it. It's worth like not giving up and not quitting. And there's just, I don't know, there's been like, it's one of those things, like, and I guess the point of this again is like, if if I can go through all of that shit and still come out on the other side, like, where I am today, like, after being told no like over 100 times for all the job applications and stuff that I put in, or being super depressed, or working like some of the worst fucking jobs in the world, and still maintaining like that drive and desire to like better myself through like health and fitness. Like you can do it too. Like I am like a normal fucking person who has like who doesn't feel motivated sometimes, who falls off track sometimes, who might not be as like attentive to like my schedule with some things, like when it comes to like my nutrition or my workouts or things like that. Like that shit happens to me too. Like I fall off the wagon. Like I fall off the wagon too. Like if I'm like prepping for like a cut or a bulk or something like that, like if it's like a 12-week thing, I'm probably gonna be like off like maybe 2 weeks of that. Like sometimes that's you're gonna have like a couple of off weeks here and there. Like that's just part of the human experience, and working through like the bullshit of the of that part of the human experience, like, and getting through it and letting it like turn you into a stronger person rather than letting it like sink your ship. Like that is kind of that is what's gonna like make or break it. It's one of those things. It's like is it a priority for you? Is it something that you like truly want? And if it is something that you truly want, like you're gonna find a way to make it work no matter what. Even if you do fall off the wagon, even if you do get dealt a shit hand sometimes, like if I can do it, you can do it too. If somebody has done it before, it can be done again. And yeah, so I guess it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like don't don't give up on your goals, and don't let life, like, you can turn things around. Like you can turn things around, and you can turn a bad situation into something that makes you stronger, rather than letting it beat you down mercilessly. So that's pretty much my life for today. Oh man, I'm reading some of these comments for a second on Facebook. Happy Tuesday. Hope you had an awesome day. I hope you had an awesome day too, Cheyenne. And then Pam said, if I can lose my 25-year-old son and pull through, then I pretty much feel I can make it through anything. Some days may be a struggle, but I keep on keeping on. And you're absolutely right, Pam. You're absolutely right. And that's like, I know that we've talked about that somewhat too. And I think that, those really, really rough times and those really, really like difficult situations that are hard to share and that are hard on us, they make us stronger people. They mold us and they shape us, and we can either let it roll us over, and like we can like give up and quit on life, or quit on our goals or whatever it may be, or we can use it as like a fuel, eventually, once enough time has gone by, if that's what's needed, in order to make us better versions of ourselves. And so yeah, so yeah, hope everybody has a great Tuesday. I guess my point of all this is like, life happens, and there's gonna be good parts of life, and there's gonna be bad parts of life, and you can either let the bad parts of life totally throw you off entirely, and beat you down and make you not ever want to like even like start again, or you can use it to your advantage, and use what you've gone through, use those personal experiences, use those like shitty times in your life as a reference point, to grow and to improve and become the best version of yourself. Because if one person has been able to do it before, you can do it too. And there are tons of people out there who have gone through horrible things, and they have still lived happy and successful lives. So if that's what you're going through right now, like just hang in there, just keep trying to do your best to make it through that tough time, weather that storm, and come out on the other side, rebuild, and be stronger than ever before. So that's my life for today. Hope you guys had an amazing Tuesday. If you got value from this, if you struggle with something in your life right now, or if you're struggling right now, feel free to share. Everybody goes through shit, and the people that do stuff like, just like me, like I fall off the wagon too. I don't have motivation sometimes. I get depressed sometimes. I get sick sometimes. I get injured. Blah, 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 blah. Like I have been there. Like, and the difference between, what I'm doing and what you might be doing right now, is just, you know, working on those skills and habits and forming that discipline and making sure that, you know, making sure that you focus on, you know, I don't know how to exactly put it, but like making sure that you focus on, you know, turning your negative situation into something that can, you know, become something beautiful, I guess. So, yep. If you guys got live from this, or if you guys got value from this, give it a like. If you, you know, are struggling with something now, feel free to share. If you have struggled with something in the past, feel free to share your story and how you came out on top. Like, you know, inspire some. Maybe you'll inspire somebody to, you know, tough it out and work through their shit and come out, you know, a better version of themselves in the end. So, yeah, if you got value from this, give it a like. Hashtag replay if you're watching this later time. I appreciate everybody who is watching this. I appreciate everybody who is, you know, commenting right now. And I'm going to talk to you guys tomorrow. So have a good one. And if you know somebody that's struggling right now, feel free to share this with them. Tag them in this if they're having a hard time. You never know what it might help them out. It might help them out. So have a good one, everybody.